since I've had to process this morning, you folks now have to process it. A remote simply puts you in a position of being remote. Be careful of your remotes. This is not the cycle to be remote. This is the cycle to open your heart. This is Elaine Bartlett at the Purple Portal. And welcome. And we have a caller right on the line. Hi there.
Hello, Elaine. How are you doing?
Well, Monette, I'm doing well. And you have been on my mind, especially this morning. Are you okay?
I am okay. There's a lot of eclipses coming up, and I thought, when I saw the title of your show today, I happened to check my email at the right time, and it popped up, and I said, this show is for me because I'm a Leo, and my birthday is on the 4th of August, so I'm within a few days of this first lunar eclipse on the 7th.
Yes, you are. So you're already feeling, well, you should have been feeling the waves of this even in the last few weeks.
Oh, I've been feeling it. That's why it's been on my mind. I said, I'm going to be calling in for Elaine's August show because I've been feeling it.
Yeah, and this is the least of it. It's the solar eclipse a couple of weeks later that's going to really be interesting for you.
I'm nervously excited because it feels very powerful, this great American eclipse that hasn't happened in 100 years. And I've been doing my research on it a bit just for what it portends for the country. But I'd like to talk to you about what does it mean for me.
And you said your birthday's the 4th, Monette?
Yes, ma'am. The 4th of August on Friday.
Okay. Well, it certainly will give you an opportunity to expand your consciousness. That's number one. However, you can only expand with a sense of really understanding what kind of seeds you want to sow.
Okay.
If you're not clear, precisely clear about the seeds you want to sow, your results will be half-baked at best.
Okay.
Or worse than that, you'll reap things that you didn't really want to reap. I didn't want to be reaping that.
Okay.
Okay. And let's see here, 12, 13. You're supposed to be, in the ideal world, stepping much more consciously into a platform of power, Monette, without it being anything connected to ego.
Okay.
A platform of power that has to do with dropping a lot of your old belief systems.
Oh, okay.
And I'm really understanding now this whole, I don't know if you were aware that last week the Galactic New Year started. And
no, wasn't aware.
Yeah.
I was aware of Leo New Moon, but I didn't know about the Galactic New Year.
It was a Galactic New Year that began July 26th. And this new year is actually called the Yellow Crystal Seed Year. The problem is, it's one thing. Well, first of all, it's very glaringly evident that people are sowing very sloppy seeds.
Okay.
Okay. And they're reaping the benefit of it. If I sow a seed of, oh, I hate that, whatever that is, okay, I'm going to reap that now twice over and big time. So to truly manifest what you want, what anybody wants, whether it's your birthday coming up or not, you've got to be present. And without this sense of presence awareness, I'm a little concerned for the person as to, well, they're going to reap the same old weeds. They're not the. They're going to reap the weeds from their seeds.
Okay, makes sense.
So it's a case of really now rejecting anything, even a preference. Because in this system of oneness, there is no preference. There's nothing. There's no experience that's positive or negative. There's not one experience that's one iota better or worse than another. that being said, you have to be very selective in every word that comes out of your mouth and every thought. Because if you are restructuring your inner, how do they want to put this? More like your inner understanding of power. Whatever you thought power you had, it's done. It's gone. Let it go.
Okay.
And it's more about still the letting go. And you're in the last few days of your dying cycle. That's a 52-day window that everyone has every year prior to their birthday.
Okay.
So it's a shedding. It's like you just keep walking around going, drop it, Monette. Command yourself, drop it. I don't care what you're thinking about. I'd like a chocolate ice cream cone. Drop it. Not because you shouldn't have a chocolate ice cream cone. Just have no preference.
Got it. I really get that. It makes sense.
Okay. And in other words, the neediness that people seem to have now, it's almost reached epidemic proportions.
Okay.
And there's nothing to get and there's nowhere to go because you're already there. You see, so all the sense of seeking, drop it. How can, if indeed you are God in drag, what's there to seek?
Oh, that's such a refreshing way to look at it. You always remind me to keep it simple, Lynn. What is there to seek? You're right.
Yeah. And everybody's running around these days like chicken with their head cut off. Not that they weren't in the past many years, but there's nowhere to go. There's nothing to do. Except, okay, and this is what the Lionsgate's going to be about, is if it really feels good to you and you really are aware of your thoughts and words and actions and experiences, then you will certainly understand the seeds of discord and disease that have been planted, but you'll become completely accountable. So, as I came in here today, I was just sharing with Jeff. He and his wife had mentioned a wonderful place in Florida. And I heard him, and he'd mentioned it a few times, and I heard it. Well, Saturday dawned, and I thought, drop all your fears of uncomfortable going to a place you don't know. Drop this, drop that. Do you have the energy to go? Do you think go, experience it? And of course, because I dropped everything, it was the most magical experience. And it was this impulse. I was like, no, I want to go. Now, they had told me of this a few times. And no, I would wake up, I'm tired, I'm grumpy, I'm not feeling it. And all of a sudden it's like, okay, Jupiter aligned with Mars correctly. And that's how it has to be if you pay very quiet attention to, now that feels right.
Right.
And it's interesting, your mental state provokes destiny into reacting with a stroke of fate designed to help you proceed to the next level.
Yeah, I think you are dead on. Well, I know you're dead on that. I've definitely had some new ideas percolating in my spirit, some new projects that I've really wanted to start, and I just feel like this is the time. I feel very motivated, and I feel optimistic about everything.
Well, it's so interesting because we're in the last few days, actually, month of the sheep, which we're still in Chinese medicine. It ends August 6th. Month of sheep is one of the 4 months that it's kind of unsettled for the spirit. And so it like shakes you up a little, and all of your long-held ideas and, yes, I think I'm going to go be a brain surgeon, it has to drop. And then, as you just said, oh, there's another little seed. That's interesting. That's percolating.
Yes.
Yeah, just as you, Monette, I have, in the last few days, a little seed taken hold. I'll see where it goes. I'm optimistic. Feels good, you know?
Yes.
And then, you see, once we step into August 7th, actually, and I know it's hard for people in the Western Hemisphere to grasp this, energetically, that is the beginning of the first month of autumn. And, yeah, and that has to do with the energy of metal. And metal is your mind.
Well, I'm actually a metal monkey, so that's not perfect.
That's really perfect because it's Monkey Month.
Oh, fantastic! Yeah, that makes. Yeah, I'm a metal monkey. I think you told me that. You helped me figure that out.
Sounds like something I might have said, but yeah. So here you are. You've got almost a monkey supporting the monkey. Monkey needs to swing with new ideas.
It's time.
It's very time. Well, yes and no. It hasn't been time, so don't be impatient with your timing process.
That's so funny you say that because the last couple months I have not been motivated, I'll tell you. So this is a new energy that has come upon me. I have not really had some fresh ideas, but I really feel rejuvenated. And so it is time. I feel that.
Well, it's almost time. You're not at your birthday yet.
Okay, fair.
You're not at the beginning of Monkey Month yet.
Okay.
So again, I'll just stroke your feathers and say, just be calm. And write down, that feels good, that feels good. And if there's really an impulse to take action on it, okay, but the thrust of the action may be triggered by the solar eclipse.
So the 21st.
Yeah, that's the big one.
Yeah, that is.
Okay, and that's sun. Sun is big time energy.
Yes. Sun is big time Leo.
Yes. Hello.
All Leo all day. Okay. That makes perfect sense, too, because I've been talking about the ideas and thinking about them, but I just have felt like I'm ready, but I haven't. I know that there's still a little bit more to go, so I really want to wait for the right timing and utilize the energy of the eclipse to almost be a catapult, a slingshot, if you will, put me into the right place.
And you'll have more force if you talk less about your idea.
Fantastic. I believe in innovation.
The analogy is the farmer would sow the seed in the field, and if he gets all jumpy excited about it and brings you, who's never seen a seed growing, out into the field and says, let me dig it up and show you, you're not going to have an apple tree.
Got it. I love privacy and secrecy in art projects.
Yep.
I got it.
Yeah, they do better that way. You can water it. Nobody's going to dampen your idea. Be very quiet. And, you don't need somebody else sprinkling your seed for you. Because generally, their water is a little tainted.
Hey, wow. Ding, ding, ding. To anybody listening, that's good advice for all people with ideas.
It's hard because, we're a part of us still has her feet on earth. And it's like, oh, I'm so excited and I want to share it. And it's really, it's not the best thing. It really isn't. I tell that to myself and go, oh, okay. So you just want to be careful of your destiny, remembering, sweet angel, your destiny is unfolding, whether you like it or not, because there is no Monet. So relax. There's no you. There's no me. It's just unhappening. It's just all unfolding, and it's just happening as it should.
As it should.
As it should. And it's when we kind of think we have to do something here that we get in trouble. So let your true self be ready. It'll be ready. Everything will happen. Although the humor is, then I'll talk to you, another day and go, but nothing's happened.
Right. Or I will talk to you and say, but Elaine.
I know. But it did, Yeah, it's a conundrum, which it all boils back to essence and oneness. And the fact that there's only that. That's all there is. And there's only ending upon ending until you're free. And that's being able to step out of the matrix. And that whole subject scares the bejeebers out of people. And you know what, Monette? I figured out how we keep in the matrix this week. It's like, whoa. And I wondered whether I was supposed to share it, but I'm going to share it. Many people won't understand it. Do your best, guys. Do your best. Here's how we step out of the matrix. And if you want to step out of it, you have complete liberation. You have cosmic expansion and consciousness. And the only way to do that is to be only present. Case closed. Full stop. Nothing else.
Got it. Present.
So if you're looking to think, oh my God, yesterday was a disaster. I just, and oh my, I'm scared of the future. You will be remaining in the matrix. And that's the only way you will have reincarnation. Because I've been searching and searching. Why do some of the mystics say there is no such thing as reincarnation? And I get it. There actually isn't. Unless you are locked into time and space.
Oh, okay. You know, that energy of fear that you talk about that I feel is very pervasive right now, you advising not to buy into that makes so much sense because it's so easy to buy into the matrix and be worried. And I have found myself in recent weeks caught up with all of the politics and everything, thinking, what's going on? The sky is falling, very Chicken Little, and the sky isn't falling.
Well, I'll take it one better. What sky?
Touche.
Yeah. A few years ago, I went down the sky is falling pathway, and I have to now be very careful because now I really get it. There's no sky, and this is a place where people are coming to learn about the matrix, meaning place called Earth, and as long as they're operating in a certain conditioned thinking pattern, they will stay in the matrix. But once in a while, someone will swim free of the matrix and then come and share. I think Eckhart Tolle is swimming free of it because at least he speaks of staying in the now.
Yes, he does.
And so, okay. And it's interesting, the symbol of a cross, or in Catholicism it would be called a crucifix, but it's really known as a cross. That symbol precedes Christianity. And the whole point of that symbol is spirit, which is the vertical line, intersecting matter, the horizontal line. And where the two intersect is now, nothingness.
You know, I grew up with a mother who is Catholic, and I didn't really adopt Catholicism that well or take to it, but all of my life I have never heard that about the cross. As many crosses as I've seen on Palm Sunday and the holidays, I have never in my life heard that about the cross, and it makes so much sense. Wow.
Well, truth actually feels like,
yeah.
Like you've released a tight corset or something, like, I can breathe again. Thank you. It's spoken of in more of the esoteric stuff, but in Catholicism, their matrix is let's keep you powerless and really enmeshed in the sorrow and the grief and what we've done as sinners.
The guilt, absolutely.
Yeah. So, and that's their matrix.
It is, but you know what? I've never ascribed a matrix to religion, even though it doesn't jibe with me. I love to be outside of the box. I kind of pride myself on that. And the way that you've explained it just now is really a revelation. That, too, is another part of the matrix, just in a different area, in our spirituality.
Sure.
So you the rat race at work and then still at the rat race in your religious kind of undertaking.
Yep.
Makes so much sense.
Yep. You know, and look, it's a matrix that's very difficult for people to break away from, which is very interesting to watch. Just as a woman or as a mother or as a grandmother, if my son had been abused by any one of those superior people, I would be out of that religion well before they knew what happened.
Right.
So I don't quite get it. I mean, all right, it's one thing to be very forgiving, but really? Move along. That's like a big no.
Yes, yes.
So
I agree.
Yeah.
Why I appreciate you so much, Elaine. You speak truth to power and speak truth, period. Full stop.
Well, I give it my best shot because we're being harmed by not looking at the truth.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a very interesting, again, it's a very ancient saying, and people are uncomfortable with this. Truth, like matter, is always becoming. It's always larger. So what served me as a 4-year-old cannot serve me now.
Yeah.
And that seems so simple to me. And yet they will hold on to an ancient truth that's got no energy and no life force to it. And it's awfully restrictive. But that's out of fear. So then I go back to, okay, drop it. I'm so big on those 2 words.
Drop it.
Drop it. I don't even go to let it go anymore. That seems almost too wordy. It's like... Hey.
Okay, Elaine. One word down.
Jeez. Tell it to sell it. Drop it.
Drop it. I will be adopting that. You always put me on new ideas, and you're right. Mm-hmm. Drop it. The sky doesn't exist. It's not even there.
That's right.
An ace for me today. I need to know that. Thank you.
Now, there's one other thing, because you are this, well, you think you're this Leo energy, although, of course, I would tell you drop that as well.
Okay.
Yep. And yes, Leo is associated with royalty. So in this gateway that's about to happen on August 8th, this is an alignment which can be seen whether you're a Leo or a Tom, Dick, or Harry. It doesn't matter what you are. This alignment gives one the opportunity to awaken the royal codes of higher living, which are available to all. And that ties into last week's sermonette about the fact that we're seeding. These seeds are for higher coding.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. So it's something very large is open. It's available, but it's not available if you don't have sort of the right consciousness. You can't take advantage of it, and you will continue to live as you have lived. The gateway also creates an incredible period of accelerated ascension, and it's supercharged. Now, what exactly is ascension? No, you will not be lifting up as the good Lord did 40 days after the crucifixion. That's not happening. The ascension is an ascension in consciousness.
Okay, all right, that makes perfect sense.
Of course it does. I mean, what are we thinking? People are going to be lifted off?
Some people think that lifting will be happening.
Yeah, no, I am sorry to burst the bubble. It won't be happening because there's nothing to ascend. It doubles back on itself. You're already there.
You're already there.
So as you keep dropping the old belief system, therein is the ascension. And therein is the gateway.
So on August 8th, just aware of that energy.
Yes. Now, remember, it's kind of like Christmas. Sometimes at the Christmas season, you could actually almost say, geez, Elaine, Christmas came and it was a bummer. But 3 days before, oh my God, I was with the family. Everybody was happy. There was no pressure. That was really my Christmas. So give it a, don't tie it down. Don't be so neat and tidy. Don't be such a person.
Don't be such a person. You're right. Yeah, if you see me already walked right back into my little matrix, like, okay, on August 8th, I need to pay attention. Drop it.
At what time on August 8th? Which
Drop it.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep. It really is very humorous when we... I can't even tell you. For the last almost now 18 to 24 months, it's been my creed. Just drop it. And the more I do, the funnier it all gets.
Oh, you're right. It's so good. It's always so good to hear a word because drop it. Stop being so human. Amen. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of like, who do you think you are? And then you have your elevator speech, which has nothing to do with anything.
Yes, who do you think you are? That's such a humbling reminder that we forget that we are just a speck in the cosmos.
Oh, no. Therein lies, like, that's a Catholic problem. You are not a speck. You are the living radiation of pure light. Doesn't get much bigger, doesn't get much more royal.
Wow. Always shifting paradigm. I guess that's what you mean. I have some things to unlearn. To unlearn. And here I'm thinking I'm so free. Isn't that interesting? I'm thinking I'm so outside of the box that I still am ascribed to that Catholic paradigm. That's fascinating.
Now, there's another thing before I let you get off this phone call, because I hope everybody is paying attention, because although I'm speaking with Monette, there's no Monette, so I'm speaking to you all. So she's the catalyst to pull out your questions. So listen, because especially if you heard the broadcast last week, it really did talk about not only is this a yellow seed year, the final line of this year that we've stepped into, I am a galactic activation portal. Enter me. That's a year-long activation portal. You marry that with a lion's gateway, and this is kind of large. So what the galactic activation portal invited us to do is to enter these gateways of expanded consciousness and amplify our awareness of energy and how it flows and information exchange. So if you're amplifying information exchange, you better be darn clear about what you are allowing in between those two little ears. Because if you're going to amplify division and separation and hatred and chaos, and if that's where your awareness is, thanks a lot. The planet needs your help.
Okay.
So the other evening, for example, I went for my walk by the ocean, and I could see as I crossed over the bridge a fantastic rainbow. It was just magnificent. By the time I parked and got out of the car, this incredible being of light had done a complete circle around the entire, from one end of the ocean to the other.
Wow.
And I stood there with this knowledge, because it was only a few days after I had spoken about it, so it was very fresh in my mind. And I thought, okay, this is a portal of multicolored energy, light, everything. And then I inverted esoterically another rainbow on top of it, so it would look like a bowl, so that this huge influx directed by my consciousness would permeate whatever it was going to permeate. I'm not attached to that. Go do your thing.
But that sounds beautiful, incredible, really. But yes, I can only imagine.
You know, I could have stood there and thought, geez, our president, what the hell is he doing? You know, I could have thought that. It's none of my business. I'm not going to change that, fix it, or help it, or heal it. But I could download energy to the planet. And
that's so good. Sorry to interrupt you. That's so good.
If I had a choice, which one has a little more merit? That one.
That one. Oh, I needed to hear that. I really needed to hear that. My job here is to shift energy. That's it.
It's to be what you are. That's really it. It's to be the light that you are. It's to be the rainbow that you are.
Okay.
You're really not Monette. I cannot insist enough about that. You're this rainbow of light is manifesting through you, and for that expression, it's taken a name.
Oh, that's so good. About angels all the time, and they call my clients and they'll say, "What's my angel's name?" And I said, "You want your angel to have a name. Your angel's energy. I don't know that they have names, but we put names on them because we're us. We're human. We do that human thing."
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So your job, if you want a job, actually, that's kind of a false thing. I have to take that back. You don't have a job. There's nothing to do here. But should you want to contribute in any way possible, okay, here this year for you, because it's such a power year, it's the opportunity powerfully to integrate the galactic code of light into the genetic code of life.
That's a soundbite right there, Miss Elaine.
Mm-hmm.
You've done this radio thing for a while, I can tell. Yeah. The galactic code of life into the genetic code of life.
Yep. So you become an alchemist. You become a transformer. You're transforming light into the code of life. And P.S., just so you know, that will change everyone's DNA across the board. You change one, the whole shebang changes. Which is why I often say, would you just do you, although there's no you, but do you anyway.
Brilliant. That last part is going to get written down and maybe even painted. The galactic code of life, the genetic code of life. That is brilliant.
That really is. I got to say, that is brilliant. I wish I could tell you, I thought of that by myself. But the big doer got that one out.
Yeah, that rainbow activation really has downloaded some incredible things, guys. Y'all need to be taking some walks by the beach, okay?
Yep.
That's good stuff, Miss Elaine. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time and energy today.
Miss Monette, I wish you the most beautiful, joyous new beginning day at your new beginning day. And you should know I really do miss your presence in my life. There we have it.
And there we have it. And you'll be getting more of me because I miss you. As soon as I talk to you, I'm like, Elaine, this is great. So thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Elaine. I really appreciate it.
I love you, and thank you for calling.
I love you, too. Have a great show.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye. Okay, I hope you all got it. Did you understand? Do you have any questions? You too may call in now. It's 321-806-3159. So that's 321-806-3159. Some of you may be jumpy that I took a lot of time with someone, but her presence, her energy allowed portals of information to reach you. So I don't have any allegiance to you. Just need to hear me. Your question becomes a trigger point oftentimes. So that's why I encourage you and invite you. You may think it's really silly what you have to say, but it really isn't, because it may be the question that someone else is a little shy and afraid to ask. And maybe I don't even answer your question, but the answer wasn't for you in the first place. The answer rolled to someone else who needed it. So please, you're welcome to call in. You're welcome to email me at purpleportal777@gmail.com. So there is a lot happening because we are in this final, really, week of the dog week. I take that back. We're in the final week of sheep month, which means look to changes. What is happening in your life that you know you're uncomfortable with, that needs a little let go, it needs a little drop it, because that's what it's about. And simultaneously, okay, so last week, if you listened, we have stepped into this new galactic year, but we also, which I really didn't have time to address last week, but I'm going to address it now, we stepped into a 1 month, because they have 13 months in their galactic calendar, which is much more aligned to restoring health, harmony, and happiness inside the feminine energy field here on Earth. which means the more you can align yourself to the frequency of the 13-month calendar, even if you just get the calendar and read each day, if you're a female, I'll take it two ways here. If you're a female, potentially it can actually help if you have feminine problems, if you've had problems with your cycle, it's been off kilter. This thing actually can help restore the natural rhythm for the females. Men, if you want to read this, it does not mean you're going to have a cycle all of a sudden. What it does mean, though, you get more in touch finally and able to express the emotional side of yourself, the feminine side, that intuitive, that nurturing side of yourself. So there's got to be the balancing out of the male-female energy, because technically when we step out of a body, once again you return to your androgynous state anyway. So this nonsense of I'm a male or I'm a female, it has to do with our sense of division and separation and all of that craziness. So women, you are to return to your innate point of loving, correct use of power. I am so convinced that if we get there, men will step more fully into their positive expression of power. And there won't be any more better or, one-upmanship. It'll all dissipate. So this particular month it's a magnetic month is what it's called. And wouldn't you know, it's all about purpose. So I'm going to just kind of take some excerpts from the calendar, which if you want the calendar, it is, you go to 13, the number 13, moon, MOON.com. Yep, I think the calendar's about $20-something, maybe close to $28. For those of you who are ready now to drop your old self, this kind of work helps you step into a higher frequency. And from all that I've now learned and studied well over 45 years, it's all about us changing our frequency, which is why sometimes I give you the simple ways of doing it. Put down the candy bar and pick up the apple. Drink more water. Go for that walk in the forest or by the beach or out in nature. Okay, you're whining because you live in a city. Go for a walk in the city. There's a tree every once in a while. You can stand under the tree. Doesn't matter. And then take yourself out of these cities. Go to the oceans, because there the ions are very self-corrective. So anyway, this magnetic tone is called Tone 1, and it represents, of course, the source of creation, the invisible essence of all that is, which is very interesting because truly everything in manifestation, I would underscore everything and put it in capital golden letters. Everything in manifestation is made up of one and only one essence. This integrating element is almost completely ignored. Just because it's ignored does not mean there is not this oneness underneath it all. So in the unified whole of life, nothing is outside of one. Awakening to the inherent unity of all things can expand your sense of purpose. You'll realize that you are an expression of totality. This is all that I was trying to reinforce in Monette. She's simply a glorious expression of totality, as am I, as am you. That is what you are, embodying a unique and essential contribution. I was speaking with someone last night who was sharing with me that her son, who's about 30, was very despondent over the weekend. And yes, he's got a high-pressure job and there's not the right girlfriend. And his big question mark was, this is all pointless. There's nothing here for me. And at any age, I've seen people posting stuff. It's pointless. Excuse me? Would you drop that nonsensical drivel? Especially not to this young boy, but to others of you that insist that you're non-essential? No. Without you, the tapestry isn't complete. When you seek your purpose, you find it is alive. It's encoded within you. It is one with who you are. It would have to be. And your purpose calls to you cellularly. And it nudges you through obvious attractions that draw your attention. I think that's what Monette was talking about. And I can share with you a little bit, although the seed's underground, so you're not going to get too much of it. But yes, something called to me recently. And I realized it's encoded in me. It feels good. It's a way to contribute to a larger, give me a larger sense of contribution. Okay? Once you have unified with your purpose. So my purpose is, I'd like to touch other souls to help their life be a little simpler as they're traversing up the pathway. I've had that purpose probably since I can remember, since I could talk. Well, with holding that purpose, you may have a purpose of you want to have a job at at a drug company. Okay, fine. It wouldn't be my purpose, but you need the money, it's a job, and you feel you can make a contribution by standing in the midst of that mess with integrity. Okay? Whatever it is, you will then naturally magnetize that which supports its unfoldment. From the vast realms of infinite possibility, all is attainable. Well, the thing that's oddly magnetized my interest in the past couple of weeks, it's an expensive thing, and it would be a big financial commitment. And yet I say to myself, there's no such thing as money. I'll magnetize whatever will make this purpose attainable. What the heck? I know that. I believe it in the core of me. As we open, as you open, as I open, to receive from the source which is in you, which provides all the resources and all of the synchronistic opportunities, everything is gracefully attracted. There's no pushing, there's no shoving. There's just an enormous sense of, I think I'm supposed to be there. I think that's where I'll show up. I think that's what I want to do. And trust me, if it's really not the magnetic pull that's strong enough for you, you'll be repulsed by it. It won't, nope, not for me. And that's okay too. Trust me, with all these seeds floating around, they will come to pass that you can sow a seed. You will also find that others are drawn to the same cause as you are. And why would that be? We're really never alone down here. Sometimes you can feel lonely, but it will pull you because it's a community effort, believe it or not. So in salute to oneness, it decrees. I mean, a decree is a strong thing. We've lost sight of the intensity of that word decree. It's a decree. When something's decreed, in the old days, it was kind of terrifying. You know, there's a decree that you will come and pay those taxes. And now people are like, yawn, I'm not paying that. So a decree has lost some of its input, but I'm putting it right back in today because it's a very important word. So oneness decrees there is only one moment, and it is the ever-changing now. And that ever-changing now is the exact spot on a cross or a crucifix where the two poles hit each other. That is the point of oneness. That is your way out of the matrix. It does not give you permission to leave this life, because once you're out of the matrix, life is rather interesting and joy-filled, and everything is met. So there's no point in, again, there's no point in this beam me up, Scotty. I went through that phase, so I have full understanding of where you might be with that, and I'm now going to help you and remind you, drop it. Scotty's already taken off. So in the ever-changing now, as the now shifts, so must purpose transform as movement directs. So 2 weeks ago, in my now, I had not a clue of an adventure that I'm about to step into. But I dropped last week, and I dropped the week before. I even had to apologize to a friend over the weekend when she said, well, how was last week? I'm like, I don't know. And it's not that I'm getting any mind disease. I have a wonderful memory. It just doesn't interest me. I've dropped it. If there's something from it that I need to take out of it, good. That will be incorporated into this now. And so the whole transformation process happens as this moment directs. You know, a month ago, when Jeff and his wife mentioned a certain place in Florida that they thought I would like, the seed was sown, and then I dropped it. The seed was sown again. I dropped it, but it didn't. They sprinkled a little more water on it, so I heard it a little better. And then finally, in that now of Saturday, it was the time to go check out the place. And interestingly enough, from that now, my soul is richer. I have more joy. And I'm ready to do it again in the next now. But I don't have to keep reliving Saturday. I extract from it all that was good. No purpose that you have is too small. As a matter of fact, sometimes you have to build on the small purposes. For many years, I had to build on the purpose of, I've got to clean the toilet again today and scrub the floors. And that was the purpose. And then they built to the next purpose, because every act serves in the grand weaving of your reality. And every act, no matter how small, is a transformational opportunity. It's the opportunity for you to be an alchemist. When I stood at the beach the other night, I was full on aware of the power to be an alchemist and flip the rainbow energetically to make a double arc and invoke a massive download of illumination for one and all who wants to receive it. And then I can hop, skip, and jump. As a matter of fact, I did, and went on and spoke to a nice new friend. She's walking her dog, happy time, and it was done. But it's still in this now, gives me an opportunity to share it with you. Know this, please. Your purpose must serve the oneness. And you serve the oneness by serving the now with serenity and with all your heart. So there is so much for us to do at this time. And this gateway that's coming on the 8th, and if you heard the beginning of this talk, yes, sort of on the 8th, maybe it's now, I figure as I read the information, it's upon me. We're in the Lion's Gateway. Matter of fact, I am the Lion's Gateway. You are the Lion's Gateway. Because we are cosmically aligned. We're at the galactic center. You're it. You're the living, breathing galactic center. So I just invoke you. Would you please be all you are? Be who you are. It is wonderful. Who you are is supercharged. Your year is supercharged. I'm just loving you. I'm just reminding you. You are that. Be that.